Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for meeting me here. First thing I want to say is just how much fun it is to go into these sacred spaces and to come back with some information and some techniques that can be practically applied to your spiritual work. I can say that in the last few weeks I've grown so much and I have been very blessed and I'm very grateful to be able to pass on these amazing things to you guys. And I sent out a little teaser earlier about what this would be about, and I went into the records and I was given a technique that is called quantum tunneling that is designed to help you meld and merge with your multidimensional self so that your corporeal self and the real you, the multidimensional you, become one. And this technique has a lot of different names from a lot of different places, but why make it complicated? Let's just make it simple. We are opening that portal to the multidimensional self and we are keeping it open. It's an energy transfer, it's an upgrade, an activation, whatever you want to call it. But I just want you to know before I give this technique that how you show up is going to determine your results. And right before jumping on here, I read a comment from Phil Good. He was responding to someone else who had replied to one of his videos, and I want to share it with you guys because it's super relevant to what we're about to do. So, the key is to move into an off-planetary consciousness. This is when things get quantum. You can't get there until you're fully observant of what isn't yours. Because if you can't detach from thoughts, when you start transporting yourself to other dimensions, there will be overlays that stop your travels. And what we are about to teach you here is how to travel to other dimensions without the interference from the corporeal self, meaning your thoughts, your ego, and your belief systems and judgments can't interject. We are stepping aside and putting that version of ourself on hold. So when you show up into this space, you are putting your entire will into it. You are generating so much energy from your chi in your corporeal self that everything else is just deflected off of you and it can't travel to these places. So one thing I do want to say, I may do this in the form of a guided meditation at some point. I do have a lot of downloads coming in for that stuff and some plans for that kind of thing going forward. But for this one, it's just going to be an explanation of the technique so you guys can use it and implement it into your routine if you wish. So before you make the decision to do this work, I want you to know that your pre-game routine is important. So I would do some stretches, I would get in the sun, I would get out in nature, I would do breath work, I would watch my diet and even fast before doing this. And most importantly, right before we go into this place, I would call in the light. And this is not to deflect or detach yourself from any negative entities entering your field. This is simply so that the transfer of information and energy can enter your cells and your DNA more seamlessly. So, because just a heads up, if you do this and you don't do other stuff to prepare yourself, you can experience a lot of fatigue after. And this can be like a 24-hour thing. It's that big of a check to cash energetically. So, I will now walk you through what to do. So you want to get into your meditation, and first thing we want to do is make sure that we're present, make sure that our breath work is in focus, we're listening to the functions of our body, we are beginning to meld with the energy of Gaia, showing appreciation for where we are and the experience we're having and the knowledge we're about to receive. You got to understand that this is a sacred ritual and process, and if you show up into the space beforehand ready to honor and appreciate the experience, your results are going to be that much better as well. So, first thing you want to do is, before you start really getting into the vivid visualizations, is you want to enter the void. So this is the space between dimensions. This is what I call the decision point. We have a choice to retreat back into our corporeal 3D, 4D self, or we can proceed into the unknown. So I choose to proceed into the unknown. If you're not quite ready for that, come back later. But for those of us that are ready to move on and to face that unknown and have experiences that we aren't trying to predetermine and dictate, we will receive the highest results from doing this work. So in this void, you might think it's just empty, vast, endless space, but it's not. There is a barrier there, and this barrier represents the veil. And this barrier stretches to the left, right, up, down, infinitely. It seems to be impenetrable. It seems like it is impossible to get around. And in your mind, you actually want to see yourself approaching this barrier, and you want to touch it. You want to put your hand on it. You want to build the image in your mind that this is an impenetrable, indestructible piece of material. It is vibranium on steroids. It is a place where very select few are destined to enter. The greatest minds in human history have never been able to penetrate this place. It is somewhere that only masters go, and those who believe in the power of their consciousness and that they can raise themselves up to a place where they can travel anywhere they please using their own free will and their own power. So, and this is why what we're about to do next is called quantum tunneling, because we are feeling the firmness and the strength of this barrier, and we are consciously raising our vibration just by thinking about doing it. And as we do so, we move through this barrier. We move through this wall, this structure, whatever it is in your mind that you're creating. And we pass through, and this structure appears to be foggy, and it's really dark. But as we pass through, we notice that there's light, and we just keep going to the light. We're going to the light until eventually we enter a new realm. And for me, that realm is always nature-based. It's always trees and butterflies and fields and flowers. And it's important that you know when you get to this place, that barrier is no longer there. You are just fully immersed in this new world, this new place that no one else in the universe exists in but you. It is a place of your creation. It is your design. It is your playground. And whatever you see and experience here is more real than anything you could ever experience in this illusion. So you are fully immersed in this place, in this realm. And how do we do that? So we do that by activating our senses. We enter this place and we create a story, and the power and the energy of that story is what will bring us the highest results. So I always enter this place, and for me it's always early morning. So I smell the dew in the grass, the wet soil. I can see a little bit of mist rising up off the ground. I can hear the birds waking up in the trees for the day. And usually the first thing I do is visualize a tree and go touch the tree and say hello to the tree. So I'm using my senses in this place. I'm even likely to approach a tree with fruit in it and eat the fruit. And in that moment, in my mind, that is the best tasting thing that I have ever tasted in the history of my existence. And if you were doing this properly, these sensations will transfer back to your physical body. This is how you know you're getting that energy transfer, because your cells are going to start reverberating the experience to you. You're going to get choked up in your throat at how beautiful it is. You are going to, let's say, you love the smell of early mornings, so that emotion is going to transfer into your physical body, and that experience is going to be real to you, because your cells and your body don't know the difference. For all it knows, it is in this place. It is having these experiences because you, the creator, are telling it that it is so, and you are doing this. So here's where things get a little different. So normally we visualize and we are tasked with holding that visualization as long as we can. But for this exercise to work, we want to move on quickly. And this is going to be big help for you guys that have trouble holding to that visualization. Because we're going to move on, we are going to go to a different place that is even more energetic and high vibratory than this place is. So within a few minutes of being in this place, immersing yourself and having these experiences, you want to imagine a portal or a doorway opening up. I imagine a doorway. I see a doorway that is pure light, that is an impenetrable force. Nobody else can enter that doorway except me. So I go up to this doorway and I do the same thing. I put my hand on it. I feel how sturdy it is. I feel how solid its makeup is. And consciously, I raise my vibration and slowly push my way through as I do this. So we are increasing our vibration and reaching a new state in order to transfer ourselves to an even higher dimension. And it is a higher dimension because we have decreed that it is so. Remember, this is your creation. Your creation. What this place is, what its meaning is, and how sacred this space is, all depends on what you determine it to be. So, let's stick with the nature theme. We move through this portal. We emerge on the other side, but this time there's a lake. And the lake is crystal clear. And the water is so vibrant and refreshing. It is just calling your name. And you'll notice that the trees and all the colors and all the smells of the forest are a little bit more vibrant. And even the animals are making noise and reacting to your presence entering that space because they recognize you. This is the power that you carry. So what I would do next is I would put a foot in the water, and then I would go in a little bit further, and then I would fully dive into that body of water. And I would lay on my back and I would look at the mountains and the stars and or whatever else the scenario dictates. But I would be so refreshed and so cleansed in that space. Like, let's say, I don't know, if you're on Earth and you go for a hike for a week and you don't shower for all that time, and then you finally get home and you take a shower. It's the most amazing feeling. Anything in this reality that we've desensitized ourselves to is going to be washed away. So all these experiences we're having, the reason it takes so much energy is because we're showing up renewed and refreshed, and everything is going to be like the first time. And that dull energy we get when we're here and we have trouble appreciating things because we're doing them so many times over and over again, that has no place in this experience. And we want to, again, dive in. And if we do this properly, if we share this properly, your cells are going to respond to diving into that water just like they do when you enter the shower after a long trip, or maybe even you've been outside in the cold for hours and you finally get into that warm tub. Whatever you decide to do in this space, just do it full on, fully committed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the real you in the most real place that has ever existed in the universe. It is your time to create and shine as brightly as you want. So I think you get the picture. From this point forward. We're going to spend a few minutes here, and then we're going to imagine another portal opening. And this time, we are on a mountaintop. We are above the cloud lines. We are witnessing maybe a sunset, something that takes our breath away. And again, before we get to this experience, before we enter that portal to this new dimension, we want to imagine that entryway as a doorway, and we want to feel it. We want to get familiar with how solid that structure is and consciously raise our vibration up so that we can tunnel our way through that portal. So it's a really fun exercise. It's really immersive, and if you're doing it right, then you're not going to be having your cellular structure chime in with anything like itching or wanting to move, or having some thought come up that, about your day or something that you have to do tomorrow, or, whatever it is for you. You're going to be 100% in that place, and you won't want to leave. But you will leave eventually, because you can only hold that vibration for so long. But you don't have to fully close that portal. You can keep that space open, because that's really what the multidimensional meld is. That we're melding with that energy. We are creating that portal so that we can come and go from that place as we see fit. And we can carry that energy of gratitude and appreciation with us, so that when we are here in the corporeal vessel, everything that we do is like the first time. We don't get desensitized. We don't build up tolerances to the things we like. We are in a full place of multidimensional gratitude and appreciation, because this truly is your natural state. And I have another one. I was debating whether or not to share it here or to do another video on it. But it's kind of the same, but it's a little different. But I'll just go ahead and give it to you now. So it's the same process, except for this time, instead of creating a nature scene, we want to simply go through a portal and sit in a wide open space that is full of a specific color. Because color has energy. We all know about the violet flame. We all know about the healing properties of color. But there is a lot of power in going to a different place and soaking in that energy that that color was designed to create for you. So I might go to that void and then slip myself through the veil and then sit in the color red. And then another portal is going to open, pass through that portal, and then maybe I sit in the color purple, and then orange, and then green and blue, whatever you want to do. I like to go from root chakra up to the crown chakra, and then hold that ending destination of the crown chakra energy as long as I can. So you can see that these are very powerful, advanced techniques, and you should honor the sacredness of this process and this information, and give thanks to the universe for putting you in a position to experience these extraordinary multidimensional energies that are your true nature. So hopefully this helped you guys a lot. So like I said earlier, I'm planning on doing some guided meditations, because I'm getting a lot of downloads like these, and a lot of these downloads are used for like healing karma or self-worth or whatever else is in our fields that needs to be healed and worked on, that can only be done from a multidimensional space. So look out for those going forward, and thank you very much for joining me here. See you later, guys.